Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan, and I designed this show to share other women's stories and expertise, tips, and practical strategies that help women navigate career and life changes and challenges. And most importantly, so that you know you're not alone. Each week through these conversations, we encourage women to be more confident, resilient, and brave in their choices for career and life. We stream live weekly every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time on the E360 TV network. And you can find us on your favorite streaming platforms like Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And we go live simultaneously on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And you can interact with us on those social media platforms. And if you prefer to listen to your podcast, you can always find us on all the podcast channels. So if something inspires you today and you want more, please subscribe to your favorite channel, however you like to watch or listen. Leave us a comment and share your favorite episodes so we can make more ripples in the world for women. So, as I often do, I start by asking a question. Do you ever ask yourself, why didn't I do what I wanted to do today? How come I didn't get that done? What's stopping me from getting those things done? It might not be mere procrastination. When it happens frequently, or it's a challenge to make a decision or set a goal, something deeper might be going on. Rozlyn Warren joins us today to help pull back the curtain so that you can understand better what might be at the root of your procrastination. Roz is a 4-time best-selling author, an intuitive wealth and abundance coach, and she founded Sacred Life Mastery. She guides business visionaries and thought leaders to achieve sustainable success, breaking beyond perceived limitations without stress and overwhelm. So let's talk with Roz about procrastination and what's at the root of it. Hello, Roz.
Hi, Maria. Hello, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be here with you today. It's one of my
Thank you.
favorite subjects.
Oh, good. Thanks so much for joining us. Yeah, one of our favorite subjects. For some of us, it's one of our favorite pastimes. So let's just go ahead and dig under this. Tell us from your perspective, what is procrastination?
Procrastination for me, it's a label we have for when we wander off, as I call it. Wait, I wandered off. When we wander off and don't do the things that we want to do that will actually move the needle forward. And as you all know, there are a plethora of books written about what to do about it and how to fix it. But what I've discovered is that procrastination, along with some other mysterious behaviors, they're really like putting a Band-Aid on a broken arm if you're just trying to address procrastination. So we want to look at procrastination from the view of if it is a something else going on, maybe I pay attention to it from that angle instead of what we usually do, which is immediately to blame and shame.
That doesn't feel good, does it? No. But we do it so often to ourselves. We're not very kind when we beat ourselves up.
It's a habit. We learned it well.
Yeah. And I think we are conditioned to do that, right? From very early on, right? When we're not getting done, we're not achieving our goals, we're waiting until the last minute. I can remember I used to say, I work best under pressure. That was my
Mhm.
excuse for waiting till the last minute to get something done. And I was procrastinating all along. So, all right, so let's talk about what might be one of those underlying causes, root causes
Yes.
for procrastination.
Well, there's the main one, which we'll of course get to because it's so exciting. But I also want to piggyback a little bit off what you just said. This idea of many of us are pushed into actually doing something by a deadline. So we have decided that, oh, well, that's just how I work best. But part of it is that got set up somewhere. The procrastination, we're going to go into that in a second. But what it has created here is this: we are adrenaline junkies now. We have trained ourselves that until there is this push and this hit of adrenaline, I might not get finished. So now we're using that adrenaline to force ourselves to do what we wanted to do the whole time. And that's what sets up this physical body issues of burnout and everything else, because we're using that adrenaline to push us. So in my work and in my own personal life, what I've discovered is procrastination is one of the mysterious behaviors. We call it mysterious because, as you mentioned at the beginning, it's one of the things that we do that at the end of the day we go, why did I do that? I have full intentions to take care of this today, and here at the end of the day, I still didn't do it. How did I manage to fritter away the whole day? Of course, then we automatically go to, well, I'm your favorite word, bad, wrong, whatever your favorite word is. But what I discovered is that these behaviors do something for you. They prevent you from moving forward. Now, we would automatically go, well, that's bad. There we are with our label gun again, labeling everything. But what happens is, set up in your nervous system is this mechanism that doesn't want you to put yourself at risk for creating another heartbreak. And this gets set up by what I call goal trauma. And now, excuse me, it is a little t trauma. It's not like, great big car wreck, whatever trauma, but it creates just as much havoc in your life. So I'm going to invite you to just think a minute while I speak about this. Somewhere in your life, there was something that you wanted, and it caught your imagination, and you set out to have it. You had a plan. You worked your heart out for it. People could even tell you this isn't going to work, and you would go, not listening, it's going to work. People would say, but if you would try this way, it would be better. Nope, not listening to you. I'm doing it my way. It's perfect. It's going to work. And then just inexplicably, it didn't work. And it broke your heart. All of that effort, all of that work, all of that, usually money, the promises, the dreams, the hopes just died. And it broke your heart. And what it set up within you, in your very nervous system, it set up this protective mechanism that the next time you decided, I'm going to go after that goal, I'm going to be all in, I'm going to give it my all, your nervous system says, yeah, no, we're not. We're not going there. And so how does it keep you from making that same mistake? Because it reads your goals now as danger zone.
So that's what leads you to procrastinate.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's an interesting concept.
It just short circuit your ability to step outside of your comfort zone and be the magnificent person you are here to be. Because it doesn't understand that you are no longer that person that had that trauma, and it doesn't need to protect you. But this is all happening, of course, like a lot of things in life, subconsciously.
Right.
And if we are just trying to treat the symptom, what are some other mysterious behaviors? You may be one of the million people who doesn't have procrastination in your life, but you could have overwhelm. You're just busy, but it's not busy with anything that's going to really move you forward. Or you could be a member of the bright, shiny object club. You start down one path and you kind of start making a little bit of headway, and oh wait, look, squirrel, I want one of those. Or maybe that'll work better. See, what's happening is you're on this project and you're getting close to that edge. So your nervous system, your inner self, goes and finds something to distract you, something to take your eye off the prize. Now, a lot of us have been taught just grin and bear it and bite down, and here comes the last minute doing it. Because you're a woman of your word. You are going to do what you said you're going to do. I have a saying. Unfortunately, I have proved it right many times. We are going to get where we are to be. Whatever our soul is here to experience, whatever mission we have, whatever we are here to do, we're going to get there. That's almost a foregone conclusion. Now, we can do it in flow. We can do it with ease. We can move through these barriers and grow all along the way. Or we can get pulled through the knothole backwards.
Yeah.
And isn't that what it feels like sometimes?
Yeah.
We're just, and this is where this whole hustle culture comes in.
Yeah. So something just occurs to me as I'm hearing you talking about another thing. We call it a mysterious what?
Mysterious behaviors.
So another one might be that pops up as you're getting close to the goal that you set for yourself, and all these things are self-doubt.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Self-doubt's a big one, I think. We talked about that last week on another show. That's another big one that would pop up, that would stop you in your tracks and say, the safety net comes up.
Absolutely. And so you can see the similarities of all of this is simply patterns and behaviors so that you stay where you are.
Yeah.
And then even more insidious than all of this is that the goal trauma and all this going on actually stops you from even creating and going after big goals after a while.
Mm-hmm.
I know a client of mine, she was like, oh, I want to do, and she named the project. And I'm like, that's amazing. I know we can get there. And she immediately went, I don't know how to do all that. So I'm going to back it down to about half of that and go for that. Here's the key. When you back down to a goal that you already know how to do, you've done it before, it's not really going to move everything forward, but you're busy, you're doing something, right? The problem is you don't want that goal. Even if it would bring some money in. It might bring in a couple of new clients. Yay, business is going forward. But it's not the next level leap you really want. So you're not going after that next level leap. So of course you're not going to manifest and bring that in. But you don't really even want this little tiny goal that you've now set for yourself. So you don't care. You can't throw your heart into it.
Right. I'm thinking about how this can show up for women in a corporate environment where they are maybe anticipating a promotion and maybe feeling like or maybe it's being suggested to them that they need to kind of step up, volunteer to do something they, is outside their comfort zone, and they're held back by that. Those are the kinds of things that goal trauma that's where it can come into play, right? Holding them back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, feel into it. Somewhere in your past, there was something you wanted to do, and for whatever reason, you didn't succeed at it in the way you wanted to. And there were plenty of people who let you know, well, if you had done this and you had done that and blah, all the alls. So now you have this opportunity before you, but that voice in your head is like, okay, now we've got the angel devil thing, right? You should go after this promotion. You should do that. But then you've got the other side that goes, well, wait, but the last time, now they're not using these words, which is why it's hard to pinpoint. But it's, wait, last time you put yourself out, you got slammed down. It didn't work out. And I loved your idea, which is so true. It kicks in. What's one way to stop you? Self-doubt. Well, really, who am I? I'll go do all of that and then I won't make it. Or worse, what if I get this promotion? What if I'm moving up the next level that I'm not going to be competent at? What if I get there and I don't like it? And that's kind of built in a little bit in the corporate culture. It's hard to try things out and go, just demote me back to where I was great, because this new one's not working for me. So there's that. That's a legitimate concern. I think years ago, what there was the Peter Pan principle or something, where you're promoted past your level of competence, but you can never go back. And so we are intuitive.
Yeah.
And we can feel that coming in. And so we just, again, it's this idea of you cannot, because it's dangerous to your psyche and to your system, to step outside of where you are and where you're comfortable. And there's two reasons for when we don't meet goals. Well, we got this whole thing going on, and what they create is, there's two of them, and one is there is the attachment. If I go after this promotion and I don't make it, my life is going to be worse than it was, even if I didn't go for the promotion. If something bad is going, it's going to be awful. So you're attached to having this promotion. And then that sets up a whole stress reaction in there. The other one, which is more interesting to me, is aversion. And especially for those of us, women in a corporate, we also are usually wives and mothers, and we have other stuff we're doing in life. We don't have a wife. We got to handle everything as the wife too. So we're going, I really want that promotion. It's going to mean this and this and this, and all of those are good. And somewhere in the back of our mind is this thought of, yeah, but it's going to take more time. It's going to be harder. How are you going to negotiate this change in your life? Because now you are, I don't know, the executive vice president. You will not be leaving here at 5 o'clock on the dot anymore. And we set ourselves up with all of these reasons why
we start talking ourselves out of it.
Yeah, it's not a real good idea. But I'm positing that all of that comes from the goal trauma.
Yeah.
It's just more of the same of how this inner part of you that's wounded and going to protect you no matter what is throwing all of this out there.
Let's talk about these are the kinds of things we as coaches talk about all the time, right? Mm-hmm. We have you call it goal trauma. Mm-hmm. I see where that comes from. These are beliefs that we've told ourselves stories about for so long that mm-hmm. it seems very real to us. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about how we mitigate that when it comes up for us, and we look in it. There's a lot of self-reflection that has to go on, right? So we look at this and say, okay, yeah, I acknowledge that I am responding to this situation. Mm-hmm. And self-doubt is coming up. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I'm procrastinating. I'm putting it off. I'm talking myself mm-hmm. out of it. Mm-hmm. All of that stuff. How do we turn that around so that we're making choices that serve us better?
Yes. Well, first off is anyone who's hearing this, you are ready to make this change. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to this. I mean, there's a million podcasts and broadcasts all over the world. This one is here. And if you're here, it's for you. First is the acknowledging, understanding that, gosh, something besides just I'm lazy is behind these behaviors that are not serving me anymore. So it's becoming aware that there's even something more going on. I love to use patterns in behavior, and we also have the problem or the tendency to, that's what that is, I'm gonna go fix it. So what I'm going to invite you to do is decide, I'm just going to notice how this is playing out. I'm just going to pay attention to it and begin to use these behaviors, procrastination, bright, shiny object, all these the doubts coming up. Use those as what they are, is a signal. I love Abraham Hicks goes, they say, oh, there I am. I'm doing that thing I do. Just notice it. I am personally a big proponent of journaling. So start writing this stuff down. Wow. Wait. I am sitting in front of Netflix. Or I am got the computer on a game over here at work. It's turned so no one sees I'm playing a game and not playing on something else. Here I am. Interesting. And then just self-inquiry. What's going on? And you can even, in coaching world, sometimes we call this like parts therapy and things, but you can actually speak to the procrastination. You can grab a piece of paper and go, okay, your name or your initial, I'm sitting here playing on Facebook. Okay. And then P, procrastination, what's going on? What are you trying to tell me? And you can get really good at that. Part of you will come and say, I don't want that promotion. And then now you got a conversation. You know, like, well,
Yeah.
why?
Now you get curious.
Why? We're
Because
it's gonna
that
it's
can come
gonna
as a surprise.
provide. Yeah, it's gonna provide blah 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 blah. Why don't you want it? And then you're a
It
little
can come as a
teased.
surprise what comes up for us when we.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love what where you start there. You know, it's the first thing for anything that we do is just be aware of it, right? But then I love the way you said just kind of watch, right?
Mhm.
Just watch what I think you used the word notice.
Mhm.
Notice what you're doing, when you're doing it. Just notice and kind of be in that. It's like
Mhm.
the objective observer.
Yes.
Right.
And
Oh,
resist
I noticed when this
temptation.
happened, you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a pattern? And
Yeah.
that self-inquiry.
Yes.
That's when we begin to uh, be able to choose to do something else.
Yes.
But if we're not first aware and we don't notice the pattern,
Mm-hmm.
then there's nothing we can do to change it.
Right.
So that's when the opportunity to choose to change comes into play.
Yes. Because what I found is most of us do, especially women, is we notice something and then we immediately go into what's wrong with us about it.
Mhm.
And then we go into, I'm going to fix it. Well, here we're back to a Band-Aid versus setting your broken arm. What are you fixing? Or you're taking an aspirin when you have a brain tumor. And we never get down into what's going on. My favorite story of the first time I met my fear, this feel the fear, feel the fear. You're like, are you crazy? In my mind, if I actually got in touch with what was going on, it was going to be this massive monster 14 times my size, and it would just swallow me up. And so I did my work and my inquiry and my on and on and on. And one day I'm finally like, fine. What is it? And honest to goodness, it was like one of these little creatures from the kids' storybooks that are about yay big, and they have the little teeny antennae and whatever. My fear was that big. And it came and it sat like right beside me. And we had this really long conversation about what it was really trying to share with me all this time. And it was small, but because I never listened to it, it got bigger and bigger and louder and louder and louder. So I would have to listen. And that always makes me think of all these feelings and these things. They're like 2-year-olds. If you've ever had one, they'll pull on your pants leg and go, Mama. And 90% of the time, we have got stuff going on. So we just ignore it. Mama, Mama. Eventually, they are so loud and have irritated us to the point where we usually go, what? And they go, I love you. Now, 20 minutes and a whole lot of irritation could have been avoided if the first time the kid, or second, let's be real. The second time the kid went, Mama, you went, yes, I love you. We could have all got on with our day. But that's what we do with our feelings. We think it's going to be some long, we just make up stories about everything. And we've created all this meaning about what it's going to be like. And in my own experience and that of my clients, when we'll finally just listen. It's not this giant thing. Now,
Yeah.
if you have, and I will say, if you have bottled up your feelings for the last 45 years, maybe have this conversation at home. Because you may cry. That I'll give you. But I can promise you, hand to heart, it will not overwhelm you. It will not destroy you. And it will not eat you up. It will set you free.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah, I think you're so right. We sometimes in our own minds make the problem that we see or think we see bigger than life.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes it hard to deal with. So the process that you shared with us to become aware and to notice and to now inquire about get curious. What is this really? And kind of stop ourselves in our tracks when or if we start to beat ourselves up about it, right? Because that doesn't serve us.
No. And it's
So
just a habit. Just a habit.
Yeah. So it's like the goal trauma that you were talking about. It's that one of those legacy beliefs that we have harbored forever and thought were real and that what needed to guide us. And we never, as an adult, questioned the validity of it, the meaning of it, whether it served us or not anymore. And then deciding, so what do we want to do instead?
Yeah.
What do we want to, if it's not that, if that doesn't serve us anymore, if that's not what I want to believe anymore, what do I want to believe instead?
Yes.
Okay, so getting back to procrastination, which is where we started.
Yes.
It is just one of those mysterious behaviors that can stop us in our tracks, can prevent us from realizing the dreams, the visions that we have. So let's talk about that. How do those feelings keep us from wanting more, from wanting what we really, really want, right?
It's fun. There's not a logical answer because logically it makes no sense. I mean, we are grown adults. Hello. We are successful, powerful, wonderful, amazing people. So it makes no sense that some incident in our past that we probably don't even think about until somebody like me brings it up to you. Yeah, how could that have anything? I mean, that happened when I was 12 or 2 or 42. Doesn't matter when it happened, but it happened. How could that possibly have anything to do with the reason why I can't put in for that promotion? That makes no sense. And that's because it's driven by something that is out of sight. Most of us are out of sight, out of mind, right? So it's just that inner thing. But now running this through the process. So you need to turn in your application for the promotion. And it needs to be turned in like now, basically. And you're just sitting on it. So running through our process, now you're going to realize, because you would have gotten more notice back a week or two ago When you, oh, I saw this promotion was up, and I don't know, your supervisor comes and says, hey, this promotion's coming up. I know that's going to hit the board. You would be perfect for it. I will give you references. I will say you are best for it. And you're all, yay, excited. And then you notice you're not, I'm not working on it. Wait, I'm very, very busy over here. I don't know. Or this things like this even happen. The kids get sick. Something else happens. Something pulls you away from this thing that you really want. So this is where you go, whoa, isn't that interesting? That's also, as a tip, that is an energy neutral response when anything happens. Instead of immediately going, this is good, this is bad, is that's interesting. I really want to go ahead and start working on this promotion, and yet I'm not. And now you have your inquiry. You just noticed something that before you would have just, there I go, blah, 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 whatever stress response you would have to it. Wait till the last minute. Something just occurred to me. Feel into this one. If you wait until the last minute to get everything together and turn it in, and you don't get the promotion, now you have something to blame it on. Well, if I had done it earlier, if I'd have put more research into it, if I had only blah, 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 then I would have gotten it. So we're already creating a way to be okay if we don't get it. Isn't it crazy how we do that? But again, it all starts with, oh, I'm not getting this done. Isn't that interesting? And then go into that inquiry. Why? Yeah. But, and this is important, we've touched on it more, several times. When you ask the question, why am I not getting it done? Number one, it is not to fix it. And number two, it is not to elicit all the mean girl talk.
Right.
It's an honest conversation with that part of you that will not pick up the pen and fill out the form. And you're not bad. Right. It is never that you're bad.
Yeah, if we could only do that with no judgment, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
If we could only do that and be kind to ourselves, I do this with my clients all the time. Just kind of step outside yourself, be that objective observer, and look in and see what's really going on.
Yeah, with great compassion.
With compassion, that's absolutely
2-year-old.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Like we would.
So you were.
Like we would get down on our hands and knees and talk to a 2-year-old in their face. When we are responding to them, we are not going to call them stupid. We're not going to, okay, you're covered in mud and I really didn't want you to, but great, let's go get you in some clean clothes, honey. Compassion. And that's what we turn toward ourselves.
Yeah. Or as though you're talking it through with your very best friend. And you wouldn't say some of the things we say to ourselves.
Absolutely not.
To our best friend.
Yes.
So don't say them to yourself, right? Because it doesn't help. It doesn't help. So I love the process, right? So become aware, notice what you're doing, and get curious with compassion. So that you can dig under the why you're not doing what you said you wanted to do in the first place. And that hopefully will start to open remove the barriers and open the doors so that you can start taking the positive steps to move forward. And maybe you say, that surprise thing is, I don't know that if I really want this promotion after all. When you get curious about all the pros and the cons, then you get to evaluate based on And one of these great questions might be, what really matters to you now?
Mm-hmm.
What really matters? Does this promotion matter? Why?
Yeah. For the sake of what do I want this? Because
For the
if
yeah.
it's simply, remember that old one of, we can climb the ladder all we want, but if it's up against the wrong wall, we'll be at the top of the ladder, but to what purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not where we wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. The wrong
We
wall. I
do.
like that.
It's so easy to accidentally fall into the shoulds. I've been
Mm,
doing this. I've been doing this work. I'm actually perfectly happy here. I feel great, but I should
yeah.
be.
Or someone else thinks we
Oh,
should,
yeah.
right? Living up to someone else's
Mhm.
expectations of us, right? It's so, we procrastinate for a lot of reasons.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they're not all only because of something within ourselves.
Mhm.
It might be something outside ourselves.
Well, and feel into, um, like in this example we're playing with here, if you are only wanting to do something because other people are overtly or behind the scenes pushing you, pulling you,
Hmm.
and yet, as I said, you're going to get to where you are supposed to be in the end. It can be your safety mechanism coming in going, when you take that promotion, you'll be going against your values.
Oh, yeah.
But how do you know if it's that or it's just goal trauma and it's a false protective system? You can only know that when you ask.
Right.
Yeah, and okay, and here's the key
Yeah.
for
That's
all
such
of
a
us
good tip.
is
Yeah.
start this self-inquiry now before there's a crisis. So that, like you said, you've got this beautiful friendship relationship going on with this inner part of you. You and your inner self are best friends. You know them,
Right.
they know
Right.
you. You recognize their voice. They know you will sit and listen if you start talking.
Yeah.
And then when something happens like this, it's easy to grab that piece of paper and go, all right, inner self, what's going on? And it's
Right.
going to be, they're going to tell you. But it's a little trickier, not undoable, but it's trickier to establish the relationship in the middle of the big thing.
Yeah.
So if you're not in a big thing right now, go ahead and start getting this relationship built up so you've got it there waiting for you.
Right. 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 That's great advice. That's great advice. All right. So, Roz, we hit on a lot of stuff today.
Mhm.
Starting with procrastination. I think we ended with procrastination. We talked a lot about stuff in the middle here, and I think all of it's really important because it's not just one thing
No.
that keeps us from doing what we say we want to do.
Mhm.
It could be a lot of different
Mhm.
things. So I would love for you to wrap this up in a bow for us. And if you can, give us kind of 3 key takeaways
Mhm.
that our audience can use today to help them just to kind of examine what's going on for them. Would you do that for
Absolutely.
us?
Absolutely.
All
So
right.
remember our little map here. Awareness with great compassion, just becoming very, very curious. Your new neutral world, when anything happens, that's interesting because it calms your nervous system down. Because the whole thing we're doing here is we're looking at calming our nervous systems down so that we can make powerful decisions that are for us. We're not just treading water. We're not going to be doing things just to please someone else and get them off of our backs anymore. We're going to do what's right for us. But we can only make that decision when we're calm enough to be able to look at it all. One of the things that is a big, big key is celebration. This is something we do not do for ourselves. Until we are done with a project, we are not allowed to celebrate. And so we can work day after day and week after week and year after year without any real big celebration because we're never done. So I'm going to encourage you to celebrate all progress. You catch yourself, oh, wait, I'm procrastinating. Isn't that interesting? Woohoo! I am awesome. I caught myself procrastinating again. This is so cool. You have a conversation with your inner self and you're like, oh, this feels so good. Celebrate that. Find someone that you can. I have a coach friend of mine. We are on Messenger all day long. I will be there in a few minutes celebrating that I got here and it was awesome. Celebrate every teeny tiny little bit of progress. And now you're going to look forward to actually doing little teeny things because there's this fabulous reward at the end. This is one way to build in motivation into your life. And the other piece, which we've mentioned more than once, is number one, you are not alone. And your very best friend is you. When you can get to the place where people say, oh, I love myself. You just can look in the mirror and look in your eyes and go, hey, cutie, I love you. And mean it, you're never, ever, ever alone.
Those are so fabulous. I love your idea to celebrate. Yeah, you're right. We don't celebrate enough. Thank you so much, Roz. I really appreciate your being here. I love your energy.
Thank you.
And you have brought us to some great stuff to think about because we are often our own worst enemies when it comes to beating ourselves up when we're not doing what we say we want to do.
Yes.
And there are lots of reasons for that. So thank you so much for being here. And I am sure there are going to be some of our audience who are going to want to reach out and chat with you. What is the one best way for them to do that?
Well, the very best way is my website, which is sacredlifemastery.art, because a sacred life mastery is an art. And we did hit on the fact that there are a lot of things that could be mysterious behaviors. So I also have a gift for everyone. And it's my assessment, where in 10 minutes or less, you just flip through it and are like, oh, that's caused by goal trauma? That's caused by goal trauma? I think you'll be surprised. And if you are one of the people on earth, I haven't met very many because they're rare as hen's teeth, who doesn't have goal trauma, you will read through that list and go, celebration? That is not what's going on for me. So I invite you to take that really quick assessment and just see how it plays out for you.
That's fabulous. Thank you so much for that. And the link for that assessment is in the show notes for everyone to get. So please check that out, take that assessment, and just be the best you can be for yourself.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Roz. I appreciate you. And for those who are watching and listening, I appreciate that you're a part of this community. So if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a comment, check a star. Let us know what you think. And as I said at the top of the show, I love creating and sharing resources for women. Plus, as a career and life coach. I work with women to help them navigate challenging times with more ease and grace. So if something in this episode resonates with you and you'd like a fresh perspective about your situation, let's have a chat. Reach out, and we can, all the links to reach out to Roz or me are in the show notes below. And then let's meet again here next Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, for another inspiring conversation. Because you know what? I believe it's our time to thrive. So let's thrive together. I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan. Till next time, helping you turn transition into triumph.